You guys asked for a story time on how I found out for sure that my ex-husband was cheating on me, and as a woman for the people, your wish is my command. Let's get into it. So I've mentioned it on here before, but I found like evidence that my ex was cheating on me the weekend of our 6th wedding anniversary. And we happened to be in Tennessee visiting my sister. So we're down at her place. We're visiting for the first time. She's in school in Tennessee to become a PA. She's gonna be a doctor, guys. She's so smart. So we were visiting her, and we were actually at a golf course with her and her boyfriend, because my ex and her boyfriend both like to golf. Now, for context, this trip was coming 2 months off the back of one of my ex's many crash outs. I have a pinned video about it, but basically he crashed out in front of my friends and caused like a whole thing. Like, I don't even know how to succinctly describe it to you, but basically he like threatened to run his truck through my friend's house and go on a murder spree and burn our house down. Yeah, he did. Saying these things out loud is like, ugh. Any hoodle. If you want to learn more about that, there's another video on that. But for context, so we're like trying to work through a relationship. He is supposed to be like, that was his rock bottom, and he was going to go to therapy and do all the work and really like do the damn thing in a way that he had never done before, when he of course always said that he was going to change. So me being who I am, I'm like, okay, this is your last chance. While we were separated, I suspected that he started cheating on me because he was hanging out with like his guy friends, but he was hanging out with girls in this friend group, and they started hanging out more and more and more. And then he was like doing home projects for her and her mom, and he was spending like every weekend with these people, and when he would be with them, he wouldn't text me. And so for like, he had the crash out incident. I said that I wanted some time to like really think about our relationship and whether I wanted to stay with him or not. He, for like a week, like literally 7 days max, says like, I'm in therapy, I'm really working on myself, I don't want to lose you, I'm so sorry. Like, just absolutely like on his hands and knees pleading with me to not divorce him. The following weekend, so weekend 1 crash out, 1 week of groveling, then the weekend after the crash out, he starts hanging out with these people. And each successive weekend, he's hanging out with them more and more. And he is like slowly pulling back from the groveling, and I can tell he's starting to like detach. And so that's when I started suspecting something was going on. I called off our separation because I was starting to like panic that it was doing more harm than good. And so he came back home, and we were like still working through things, but like together. But while we were doing this, he was still hanging out with this woman and like this friend group. And so after a certain point, I had expressed to him that I felt like the relationship was a little inappropriate and it made me uncomfortable. And like, was there something more to it? Or like, am I being crazy? And of course, as an emotional abuser and a narcissist, he told me that I was crazy and that they were just friends. So more and more, he would be hanging out with them. He would tell me like, oh, we're gonna go do this, and I'll be home by this time. And then it would be like several hours later that he would be home without having texted me or called me to tell me that he was gonna be running late. And there was even one night, it was like a weekday too, he went house hunting with this woman and one of their other friends as like her inspector, because he works in like maintenance. And that night he told me, I'll be home by 8 o'clock comes around, he's not home. I'm texting him, like just being like, hey, is everything okay? Where are you? He told me over the span of like 2.5 hours that he was on his way home and didn't come home until like 11. And then he got upset with me when I was upset that he kept telling me he was on his way home and he clearly wasn't. And he like blew it back on me for being like, you just don't like that I'm hanging out with people and you can't handle that like I'm not spending time with you and I'm like carving out these friendships and these relationships outside of our relationship, which again emotional abuser, like narcissist, like typical. His birthday comes around in mid-September, and we had been fighting because of that incident that I just mentioned, where he like came home late and didn't tell me, and like this, that, and the other. And so the day after his birthday, had caught him Snapchatting this woman. And for context, my ex is like one of those people who, like, he doesn't text, he's not on social media. Like, if you text him, chances are he's like not gonna text you back as like a friend. And even for me, like, we didn't have like enriching text conversations. He wasn't Snapchatting me, he's not like interacting with me on social media or anything like that, but he had downloaded Snapchat to Snapchat her, and like he hadn't even added me on Snapchat. I didn't know that he had downloaded Snapchat until I was in the bathroom one day, and he had left his phone in the bathroom. And like, I am not the kind of person where I was going through his phone throughout our relationship, but because I was so on edge and so paranoid, I'm not condoning this behavior, and I know that it was like an invasion of privacy and it wasn't right for me, but I noticed when I saw his phone was still in the bathroom that one of his notifications was a Snapchat from her. I had Face ID on his phone. He like granted me that, whatever, and so I was able to get into his phone, and I knew his passcode too. So I opened the Snapchat, and it was her talking shit about me. So he had like gone to her to talk shit about me, and she was talking mad shit back. And so I wrapped up what I was doing in the bathroom, and I silently took his phone over to him, and the look on his face was just like immediately like, oh fuck. So we fought about that, and he again tries to tell me that like, we're just friends. I shouldn't have been talking about you, and I shouldn't let her like talk about you, but like, there's really nothing more going on. And so a few days later, after the Snapchat, I confronted him, and I don't even remember why at this point. I think I was still upset about the Snapchat thing, and he got mad at me for still being upset about it, because he's like, you're making a big deal out of nothing, and you're making me feel bad about having friends, kind of thing. And so I don't remember what prompted it, but I was like, show me your text messages. There was a reason. I don't remember what it was. And so he ordinarily would just hand over his phone to me and like let me freely look through it. He's like scrolling in their message history to like get to some specific spot, and I'm like, give me your phone, while he's doing this. And he eventually does hand it over, and it's at a spot where like on his birthday, he was telling her about how shitty his birthday was because he and I were fighting and I was making it miserable, and she was like, you don't deserve that. She has no right to be jealous. Like, she needs to get over the fact that we're friends and like, you're gonna be in my life whether she likes it or not. Calling him honey, which really was like, really sent me into the ether. So I'm reading these things, and I'm like mouth open, jaw dropped, like starting to cry, really upset, obviously, right? And so he yanks his phone out of my hands, and he starts yelling at me for being upset, you guys. He started yelling at me and telling me, like, he whips like a suitcase out from under our bed, and he's like, I'm not staying here if you're gonna be like this. You're like being crazy, you're overreacting, like yelling at me. I can't even remember all of the things that he said, but they were truly horrible. And when I was like, you at the very least are having an emotional affair with her, he was like, that's so disgusting that you would say that, and starts just like losing his shit over me suggesting that he's having an affair. And like, it turned into a huge catastrophe of a situation. I fear we're at time, so part 2, hang on, I'll put it up on my page. I'm gonna record however many parts this is, and then I'm going to upload them in succession. So if you want part 2, go to my page.